Welcome back to the channel. You've been through the storm, and now you're starting to rebuild yourself, stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Every day without them has been a step closer to finding your true power. But just when you think you've moved on, just when your heart is beginning to heal, you get that text. The one you've been secretly wishing for. The apology, the "I miss you," or maybe even just a simple, "Hey, how have you been?" But here's the thing. You need to see through that message. It's not a sincere check-in, it's a test. A test to see if they still hold any sway over you. And right now, you're standing on the edge of a critical moment in your journey. This is the most dangerous time in your no-contact period, because the person who once hurt you is ready to strike again. I get it. Your heart wants to reply, but your intuition knows better. Deep down, you're here because you recognize this isn't about a text. It's about power. About whether you're still stuck in the past or moving toward the future. No contact isn't just silence. It's a battleground between who you were and who you're becoming. The old you might have jumped at the chance to respond, desperately seeking closure or validation. But the new you, the version you've worked so hard to create, is worth so much more than that. They don't deserve a piece of your energy anymore. Before you hit reply, ask yourself, are they reaching out because they genuinely miss you, or because they miss having control over your emotions? In this video, we're going to uncover exactly why they've resurfaced, what that message truly means, and the one powerful decision you need to make right now. By the end of it, you'll be crystal clear on whether replying is the right move, or if silence is the only response they deserve. This is your season of transformation. Protect it. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I am worthy of peace, not manipulation. Let's dive in. Number 1. The power of no contact. You might think your silence is going unnoticed, but in reality, it's doing more damage than you can imagine. Right now, while you're questioning if no contact is even working, just know, it's hitting them harder than any message ever could. Silence doesn't just hurt, it exposes the truth. It reveals who truly valued you and who stuck around just because they assumed you'd always be there. The moment you chose to walk away, they didn't expect this silence. They thought you'd be the one chasing, apologizing, and trying to fix everything they broke. But every single day you stay quiet. You're showing them something they never saw coming. Your strength. No contact isn't just about ignoring them. It's about showing them what life looks like without you. It's not about punishing them. It's about protecting your peace and showing them that your absence has more weight than your presence ever did. And trust me, they are feeling that absence in ways they never imagined. Psychologically, humans crave what they can't have, and you, my friend, are the thing they now can't have. The longer you stay silent, the more their ego begins to shatter because deep down, they never thought you had the courage to walk away. But what they don't realize is that your silence isn't weakness. It's your transformation. You're reclaiming your power. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. And that's exactly what you're doing. You're not chasing after them. You're not begging for closure or validation. You're not reacting to their half-hearted attempts to reel you back in. You're choosing yourself, and that decision is hitting them harder than any confrontation could. No contact is your secret weapon, not because it makes them miss you, but because it forces them to face your worth without you ever having to prove it. Every day you remain silent, you're teaching them a lesson your love could never reach. You were always the prize, They were just too blind to see it. Yes, I know it hurts. The silence feels deafening, and the weight of it is heavy. But trust me, what hurts more is chasing someone who was perfectly okay with losing you. You're not losing anyone. You're gaining back your peace and reclaiming your worth. They're the ones losing someone who would have never given up on them. Your silence is flipping the script without you lifting a finger. They may act like they don't care, but I guarantee they're checking their phone more than ever, hoping to see your name. But you're no longer that person. Seneca once said, "He who controls his emotions controls the game." Right now, you're in control, even if they don't realize it. Keep holding the line. Drop this powerful affirmation in the comments. My silence is my strength, and my power is breaking them. Number 2. Why they're reaching out. So that message you just got? It's not a love letter. It's a panic button. They didn't reach out because they suddenly realized how much they need you. They texted you because your silence has shattered their illusion of control and forced them to face their biggest fear, the idea of truly losing you. When you went no contact, they thought you'd cave. They thought you'd come crawling back, desperate for their attention, for their validation. That's what their ego expected. After all, the old you, the one who would reply in an instant, the one who tried to make it work no matter what, the one who gave them more chances than they deserved. That's the version they thought would always be there. But now, this silence, this empowered version of you, it's absolutely terrifying to them. What you're experiencing right now is the moment when the power dynamic flips completely. The person who used to ignore your calls is now testing the waters, trying to see if they can still control you with a simple text. That, "Hey, how have you been?" isn't an innocent greeting. It's a subtle attempt to see if you're still in their grasp. They're not trying to make amends. They're trying to see if you're still waiting around for them to come back. Psychology tells us that people only start to miss you when they realize they can no longer have access to you. They're not craving your love. They're craving the power they once had over your emotions. Right now, they're not mourning the loss of your affection. They're mourning the loss of the control they thought they had. What's really happening here is simple. They're not texting because they regret losing you. They're texting because your silence has stripped them of their power, and that's something their ego can't handle. If they truly missed you, they wouldn't have put themselves in a position to lose you in the first place. Your silence is doing more than just hurting them. It's exposing their true colors. Because deep down, they thought you'd always be an option. They thought you'd always respond. But now they're realizing they played themselves, assuming you'd never be able to walk away. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, if someone is trying to pull you back, it means you're ahead. Right now, you're ahead. They feel it. They're reaching out because they can sense you slipping away, evolving into a version of yourself they never imagined you could be without them. But here's the thing. They don't want the healed, empowered version of you. They want to know if the broken, desperate version is still somewhere inside you. They want to see if you're still the person who would reply at 2 a.m., the person who would drop everything to respond. They want to know if they still have a hold on you. But the truth they're about to realize is this. That version of you is gone. The old you would have responded immediately. The old you would have clung to every word, every promise, every ounce of attention they threw your way. But this silence, this powerful new version of you, scares them more than anything they've ever known. They're not reaching out because they miss your love or your presence. They're reaching out because they miss the control they once had over your heart. Seneca once said, "The greatest revenge is not anger, it's indifference." And that's exactly what your silence is doing right now. It's breaking them, piece by piece. You're not giving them attitude. You're not chasing answers or begging for closure. You're simply choosing yourself, and that's the lesson they never thought they'd have to learn. Your silence is forcing them to confront what they lost, and it's doing it in the most powerful way. I get it. That message they sent is tempting. Part of you might want to reply, not because you want them back, but because you want them to feel the weight of what they've lost. But let me tell you something. Your silence is already doing that. Every second you hold back, every moment you refuse to engage, they're feeling it. If they truly valued you, they would have never let you go in the first place. They've never put you in a position where you had to choose between them and your self-worth. Let this silence be the lesson they'll never forget. The lesson that the person they took for granted has now become the person they'll never get back. Number 3. How to know if you should reply. That message is sitting there, tempting you to reply. But before you do anything, ask yourself one powerful question. What would replying give you that your silence hasn't already? You've come so far without their validation. You've endured the heartbreak, fought through the sleepless nights, and yet, you stayed strong. Even when it felt like everything was falling apart, you didn't reach out. That silence? That was your strength. That was your soul choosing to heal, choosing to put yourself first instead of clinging to someone who never valued you the way you deserved. And now, after all this time, they've reached out, and suddenly that little message has you second-guessing everything. That's exactly what they wanted, because your silence was their biggest fear. When you stopped responding, you took away their control, and now they want to reclaim it. But here's the truth, most people won't tell you. Replying isn't just about answering a text. It's about the energy you're allowing back into your life. Are you replying because you're genuinely curious, or because you're still waiting for the apology or closure they never gave you? If you're hoping for closure, don't. They can't give you closure. That's something you have to give yourself when you decide that you're worth more than the pain they caused you. If they truly cared, they wouldn't have put you in a position to need closure in the first place. The Stoics taught that real power lies in mastering your mind, not chasing after answers or approval from others. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." You can't control if they regret losing you. You can't control if they ever truly understand the damage they've caused. But what you can control is whether you let them back into your life or not. So how do you know if you should reply? The answer is clear. If replying serves your healing, not your ego, then maybe it's worth considering. But if responding only pulls you back into old wounds you've worked so hard to close, then the choice is simple. Your silence is your greatest power. Don't give that up. Number 4. What happens if you reply so, you reply? Now what? Maybe you're hoping for that long-awaited apology. Or perhaps you think they finally realized your worth. Maybe you just can't stand the silence anymore and want to feel that connection, even if it's fleeting. But here's the brutal truth. When you break your silence, you're not just opening the door for them. You're opening the door to your own emotional setback. A reply might give you a temporary sense of relief, a rush of attention. But that feeling, it's not love. It's not closure. It's your ego begging for validation from the same person who once made you feel insignificant. And here's where it gets even more dangerous. The moment you reply, you hand them the power once again. What happens if you respond? They feel reassured. They feel like they've still got access to you, like you're still waiting for them to come back. And when they feel that comfort, guess what? They'll pull away again, because they didn't reach out to heal things. They just wanted to see if they could still control you. The Stoics teach us that our greatest suffering isn't what happens to us. It's how we allow it to affect us. Seneca once said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." That message you're staring at right now? It's not a declaration of love or an apology. It's a test. Bait. Meant to see if they can still manipulate your emotions like they used to. By replying, you're stepping right back into the emotional whirlwind you fought so hard to escape. If they truly valued you, they would have never made you doubt your worth in the first place. If they truly regretted losing you, they would have come back long before now. What you're really craving isn't their message. It's the version of them you imagined they could be, not the one they showed you. Your silence isn't a punishment for them. It's a shield for you. It's the boundary between your healing and their manipulation. Every moment you don't reply, you're teaching them that you're not the same person who once accepted their bare minimum. You're not the person who will chase after crumbs anymore. A reply might offer a fleeting moment of satisfaction, but your silence, that's where your real power lies. Let your silence roar louder than any message ever could. Number 5. Why no contact hurts them more than any reply ever could. Here's the reality. Your silence is the most powerful rejection they'll ever experience. It's not just about ignoring their message. It's about making the conscious choice to move forward, to heal, and to prioritize your own worth over their empty words. That decision, that commitment to your own growth, stings them deeper than any sharp remark or harsh response ever could. No contact isn't merely setting a boundary. It's a bold declaration. It's you saying, "I know who I am, and I won't accept anything less than the respect and love I deserve." The second you stop responding, you stop giving them access to your emotional energy. You stop feeding their ego. And that is when the real hurt begins. They begin to feel your absence and that emptiness. It cuts through them like nothing else. Sure, replying might give you a fleeting sense of relief. You might think you're regaining control or seeking the closure you deserve. But in reality, you're handing them what they wanted all along. Access, validation, a chance to reel you back in. And just like that, the emotional cycle picks up again. They don't need your response. They need to feel like you're still waiting for them. They need the comfort of knowing they can still reach you, still pull you back into their orbit. But that part of you, it's gone. You've chosen to value yourself over their manipulations, and that hurts them more than any words could. No contact isn't about ignoring them. It's about healing. It's about moving on. The absence of your presence forces them to confront the fact that they lost you, and the pain of realizing that loss is far worse than anything you could say in a message. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." By choosing silence, you're not seeking revenge. You're not trying to make them feel the pain you felt. Instead, you are choosing to rise above their games, their chaos, and the person who let you go so easily. You're showing them that you are stronger than they ever imagined. And in that moment, you've already won. The more you stay silent, the more they're left to wonder. Did I make a mistake? Will they ever come back? That uncertainty will haunt them far more than any text from you ever could. Every moment of silence is a moment they have to reckon with their own actions. When you reply, you give them another chance to pull you into their drama. But when you stay silent, you take back your power. You stop being a part of their emotional manipulation. You're telling them, I'm done. You no longer control me. And that's when the reality sets in for them. They're losing you for good, and they can't stand it. Your silence makes them face the truth. They've lost the person they never thought they would. And that truth is far more painful than any words you could ever say. I want you to drop this powerful affirmation in the comments. My silence speaks louder than any words I could say. Your silence is your ultimate power move. It's the message they'll never forget. You're not available for their games, their manipulation, or their broken promises. You're moving on, and that's the most powerful thing you can do. Number 6. Final answer, should you reply? Now that we've broken down everything you need to know, it's time to answer the big question that's been burning in your mind. Should you reply? Let me give it to you straight. No, you absolutely should not. Choosing silence is not about punishing them or playing games. It's about choosing you. It's about proving to yourself and them that you don't need their attention to feel complete. You don't need their validation, their apology, or their approval to continue moving forward. You've already got what you need: the strength to stand on your own and the peace that comes from within. When you respond to their message, you risk stepping back into a toxic cycle you've already broken free from. The silence you've maintained has allowed you to reclaim your energy, heal, and begin building a future without someone who wasn't willing to put in the effort when it counted. Your silence isn't just quiet. It's a loud, powerful statement. It says you're done with the emotional games. It says you're no longer willing to revisit the pain of the past or seek answers from someone who wasn't there when it mattered most. Silence is your ultimate weapon of self-respect. It shows them that you're in control of your emotions, not them. The Stoics knew that true wealth comes from being emotionally self-sufficient. Seneca once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." What you have now is all you need: self-worth, peace of mind, and the understanding that you are more than enough, with or without their validation. Don't let their words or actions steal your peace. Your ability to move on is the most valuable thing you can hold on to. When you choose silence, you choose to keep your peace. You stop waiting for them to magically transform into the person you hoped they'd be. You stop longing for closure that only you can give yourself. Your silence is your closure. Your ability to move on is the affirmation you need that you're strong enough to keep going, no longer relying on someone else to define your worth. What would replying really get you? A momentary emotional rush? Sure, maybe. But that rush is fleeting. The truth is, they've already hurt you enough. They've already shown you exactly who they are. And now, you're showing them who you've become. The person who has learned that moving forward isn't about rehashing the past, but embracing the present and building a future that doesn't revolve around them. Your silence isn't just a form of control. It's a symbol of emotional freedom. You're no longer waiting for someone who won't show up. You're no longer clinging to a hope that things might change. You're stepping into your power and embracing the life you deserve, where you're whole without needing anyone else to complete you. You are enough as you are, and you're moving on. So, should you reply? No way. The moment you reply, You let them pull you back into a place you've already left. You've moved on. You're stronger. You're wiser. You're emotionally free. And replying would only drag you backward, tearing you away from the peace you've fought so hard to find. This is your life, your journey, and you're not waiting for anyone to tell you you're worthy. The missing piece was never them. It was always within you. Your strength, your resilience, your ability to rise above. By staying silent, you're showing yourself that you are enough. The right choice was never to reply. It was to keep your peace and move forward. You've chosen yourself, and that's all that matters. Let your silence speak volumes. It's the loudest, most powerful message you can send. So go ahead. Embrace your silence. It's not a punishment. It's your blessing, your gift to yourself. By doing so, you're forcing the wrong people to lose access to you, while giving yourself the time and space to grow into the person they'll regret losing. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I choose myself, always. If this resonated with you, hit like, comment, and subscribe. You're just beginning your glow-up journey, and the best is yet to come. Keep moving forward, stronger, empowered, and ready for the future you deserve. You've got this.